Hi guys, it's Binoftrash here. A lot of people were asking me for a painting tutorial, so I thought I'd give one of those this time because I haven't done one in a little bit. So this tutorial is how to do digital painting, mostly for Photoshop as that's the program I use. You can use the same kind of technique in other programs, but it'll be up to you to find the bits and bobs, I guess, knowing what tools, etc. to use. Okay, so what I've got here is I have a sketch. So it's that here. That is layer 1. I am just going to rename it so it says sketch. Okay, so we now have a sketch. This is our base coloring. So it goes underneath, it has to go underneath the sketch. I always do it this way, that way if I cause any issues, I guess, I still have the sketch to use. So we're just going to put our colours underneath pretty quickly. Like this, so one who wearing blue shirt, and we can give her blue eyes as well. And for this sake, I'm probably going to do brown because brown is a good colour. Okay, so what we're going to do for this one is, obviously, I've set my brush to this, so shape dynamics, pen pressure, and same with my transfer. Transfer as on pen pressure for opacity jitter, and it's on the lowest 0 setting. So minimum. The reason I have it as that is because it lets me pretty much use it like a pencil. So I also have mine set on the lowest hardness. I do that most of the time. You can do it without, so I'll show you a couple of different ways to paint. So this is the one that I normally use. Okay, so then what we're going to do is we've blobbed all our colours in. We're going to make one over the top, and we're just going to call this one detail. This goes over the top of the sketch and obviously the base colouring. So then what we're going to do is we're going to pick our skin colour, pick a nice shadow colour, and we're going to blob some shadows in. So we're going to straight off, just colour over the top where we want some shadows. Something like that. You'll have to obviously, it'll depend on your picture as to where the shadows will go. So you just blob in some shadows. I'm going to zoom in. Then what you can do is if you increase the size, you can actually start blurring this a bit. That's why I like mine on 0% hardness, because it goes all blurry and it's fantastic for blending your colours in. So we're blending our colours in this way. Get rid of the paint lines, whatnot. Obviously I don't think that's dark enough for my personal taste, so it's when you get out there you get another colour, and because it's also on opacity jitter, you don't have to use the darkest shade. If you think it's too dark, then pick a lighter one. I constantly pick new colours as I paint, so for example, for me I hold down the Alt key and I can use it to select a new colour in the middle of painting, so I don't have to constantly go over here to change the colour. So shortcuts are helpful if you have to, you know, like look in your help section, etc. for shortcuts, because they save you a lot of time. So pretty much what you do with painting is it's all about cleaning up. So what you would do with your line art is pretty much what you do with painting. The only difference is you're pretty much cleaning up with colour. So I quite like it because I find it generally keeps the charm of the sketch, and that's probably why I particularly like it as a style. But it is difficult to do painted styles when you don't want to have a background on it, because obviously cleaning up the lines is not as easy. So that's pretty much how that works in terms of just the basic painting for digital. Obviously if you have any questions about that, then let me know, but you know, this is pretty much, there's not a lot to it. It's pretty basic really. It's just a matter of refining it. I know a lot of people don't like painting over the top because they're worried they'll mess up their sketch and stuff like that. Don't worry about that too much, because like if I screw something up here, I can just redo it. So you just sketch over it again and, you know, do so until you actually like it. So, you know, like if I suddenly wanted to move the eye down, I just grab it, move it down. It makes for a lot, I guess a lot more freedom, I find, because when you've got line art it can be a little bit restrictive because you can't really go outside the lines anymore. And if you want to change it once you've line arted and coloured everything, it's a lot more hassle than just painting over the top. So I will show you how to do hair in just a second. So yeah, so far it's kept quite a bit of the original style to it. It doesn't always, it depends, I guess. Takes a bit of practice. This isn't exactly my best work, but it's also done pretty quickly. Again, if you don't think this is dark enough, you just get a darker colour and keep going until you're happy with it. And yeah, so we've got those kinds of things. Then you got hair. So a lot of people always struggle with hair and they tell me that. So with hair, one thing you have to notice is wherever the light's coming from. In this case, the light's coming from pretty much this way. So all the light, we're just going to grab a very light colour and we're going to blob it on. Literally just splob it. Splob. That's a great word, and that's another video finish, so ignore that. Yeah, so what you're going to do is you just blob it on. Shadows is obviously where the light's not going to hit. The light's not going to hit where your back is, because your entire head and back is covering your head, your hair I should say, so you don't need to worry that much. You just put that through there. Okay, so now we've got like a bit of stuff all over it. It's nice and hair-ish. Okay, so you make your brush smaller. Please feel free to constantly change the size of your brush. I change mine a lot because sometimes it's better to have a smaller brush than a bigger one. So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to start playing with this. So I literally just get the exact same colours, start moving it around. If I like something, I keep it. If I want, say, a lot more shadows in here, just put a couple of shadows in. Put that through here, make it look more like it's coming up the middle. So we got a little bit of more hair formation here. It's just sort of coming in. It's literally as simple as just blobbing the colours and refine it a bit. You want people to see it as strands, I guess, so you try and make it clump it, but not too much. Okay. Again, this isn't my best work. Not particularly, because I guess I'm trying to just show you how it works, but so here we go. We got basic. That's pretty much how I do my hair. It's pretty simple. It looks effective enough though. Takes a bit of practice to get used to it though, so don't give up if you're not doing well the first time. Keep at it because you will get better. Obviously I did not do very well my first time painting, and I'm kind of glad I didn't give up on it, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to show you how to do it. So yes, we got all the basics, and then there's hair, and funnily enough the hair looks like the best thing in this picture right now. And then there's sticking like that in there. We can add a bit more shadow here, and that's pretty much the idea for painting, using the, I guess, a softer technique for painting. Another way you can paint, which a lot of people do when they're painting scenery, I know because I also do that particular style of painting, is you blob a lot of colours in and you refine it, but it's still fairly messy. So if you notice like this, it looks pretty nice when you zoom out. It looks neat. Whoops, excuse that. But you zoom in and it's a lot more messy. A lot of stuff will be the same. The other day I did a couple of banners. I don't actually have any of them on the thing at the moment, but I'll show you in a second. So what we can do for the other style is you take transfer, put it to about, I don't know, about 70%, and you take off hardness, make it 100. And normally I use probably like one of these brushes. You don't have to, you can actually do it with a straight round brush. I normally do, but in some cases I prefer to play around with it. Like there's this brush, where's that other brush? This is that other brush. I quite like this one, I don't know why, I just do. So yes, I'm going to move these, or this, over to the side a minute. And I'm just going to paint in this canvas size. I'm pretty much going to put everything will be on one layer. I'm not entirely sure what I'll be doing, so this is, again, this is just another way of painting, so there we go. We'll do something for Halloween, I guess. Okay, so we don't have much this time, obviously there's a lot more a solid colour this time rather than a soft one. So what we're going to do is you can sketch in shapes. This is also like quick how to do backgrounds. So you sketch in shapes and you can start refining it from there. So I'm not entirely sure what I want. I am literally just scribbling at the moment to see what happens. And this happens for a lot of my concepts. I don't know what I want until I'm about halfway through, and then I might have like a little bit of a concept. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. So yeah, you can have, I don't know, we can have some trees going up this way. I want a smaller brush so I can do some thinner things. There's no shape dynamics on this. It doesn't matter, just make it smaller. So yeah, so we can do that, and there we go. We've got some kind of tree coming out this way. I actually would like my tree to have some leaves. So we'll just chuck this on here. So this is a little bit of a start sort of thing. Then what we're going to do is we're going to start changing the colours. So I think I'd like a little bit of blue. Let's see what happens if I put blue in here. We can put some blue around here, maybe a lake, I don't know, whatever comes. So we have a lake coming through here. We can have some green, although there's a lot of purple. I think probably pink would suit this. We can do that for lighting. There's a light colour in here, pinch this. Yeah, here we go. This just gives me extra colours. So we're going to start just playing around with this. This is close to the camera, so there'll be more detail in the closer to the camera section than obviously way out here. This section can have, some more mountains, why not? This is another way of painting. You can paint characters the exact same way as this. I did that when I painted everything on one layer. Again, I'm not really sure where I'm going with this, it's just kind of happening. Okay, so there we go. That's a basis for it. I'm going to, because the transfer's not actually on, I'm going to put it down to about 40%. Then what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start refining it. So I want some grass. I want some thin grass at the top. We can put some, obviously the grass is going to get smaller as you go along because there's not enough of it. And then there'll be a little bit of grass down this way. You're going to start merging your colours in here. So it's still fairly solid, but you can, yeah, this is how I paint. When I paint scenery sometimes, I quite like this way. It's a lot of fun. So you can see now it starts looking like grass, whereas this just looks like a scribble. Same with way back here, you can have it so that obviously there's sunlight on it, even if it's way back there. You can have some light on here, so I don't know, sunlight. You can have fish technically running around in this water section. If it's darker in a certain spot, you put some more dark water in. So we can have water like going around the outside like this. Technically that could all be dark, so like that. So this is a little bit of like, it's got a bit of a background tutorial in it as well. Okay, and then what we're going to do is put more grass in. I'm going to do one side first, I guess, so I know what I'm doing. Put a bit more grass grass in. Looks like a fairly grassy area, even though everything's pink. Ignore the colour. Okay, do that there. Yeah, these are a lot more simplistic. Don't really need them all over the place. Next, what we can do is we can add some clouds, maybe. So, I'm not particularly that good at clouds. They just kind of happen when I do clouds. So, again, this is just showing the technique rather than anything else. So again, it's all about refining. So once you've got all of your basic shapes in, you can start refining things, add extra things. If you like one thing, you can add that. If you don't like something, you know, just take it out, paint over the top. Because this is all done on one layer, there's nothing else to it. I do actually have it selected, so I can't go outside that layer, which I adore. It's always a lot easier when I do that. Okay, so do this. And now we've got this tree over here. If you don't like something because it's too big, you can, you know, reduce I can't English anymore. You can reduce the brush size and play around with it that way. You can also change your brushes and try painting with different type or textured brushes. There's never anything wrong with using a brush that's not the standard one. It doesn't mean you're not an artist if you use somebody else's brush. It just means that you know how to use the tool correctly, so good job. So don't let anyone else tell you that, because I don't understand people sometimes, but it's still just as good. You might as well use the resources when they're there. Okay, so we now have this both sides, but you can see where I'm getting at in most cases. We now have pretty much a full background, but if you zoom in, it is so messy. Zoom out, it actually looks pretty good. Obviously, if you do it closer up, you can add more detail, refine more bits. You can add characters and stuff. I'm trying to think of what else you can do. You can add more colors, because obviously this is a very basic and barren colored kind of thing. It would have probably looked better in a different color scheme than what I have for it, but I don't mind too much. Okay, not too far from finished, and then I guess we can wrap it up. Okay, so adding more details. You don't forget you can add more colors. You're painting, so if you want more colors, just chuck them in. If they don't blend, you can paint over the top. So like if I didn't like this, for example, I can paint over it. It's quite a neat feature to have. If you think that, you know, maybe, okay, I'd like some yellow in here, get some yellow, put it around the edges maybe. I need actually a thinner brush. It just makes it look a lot sharper and it tends to look nicer. So there we go, we got a basic of yellow. It's just pretty much like a shoreline kind of thing. So you can stick those kinds of things in there and they look good enough. Okay, and then you can do the same thing for even stuff in here. So you know, if like it's darker down here, you can do that. Although because it's further away, it is a good idea to probably get a bigger brush so it's more blurred. Because it's in the distance, you want stuff closer to you to be sharper than the stuff further away. Again, this is the way I do it. It's not perfect. Not every artist is going to do the exact same thing. If you find a way that's easier for you, then do that. But this is a neat technique. A lot of artists tend to use the painting techniques because it is quick ways of doing backgrounds. It's a really nice relaxing way of drawing. I find it's not actually stressful at all. A lot of people think it is because, you know, you draw a nice picture and then you just colour over it. But because you still have the original sketch, I find I don't normally have that problem. If I ruin a picture that I've been painting for like a couple of hours, I just keep at it until I like the picture again. So yeah, it's worth trying. Don't just give up just because you're not sure what to do with it anymore. Just keep at it until you can't think of anything else to add. As soon as you're like had enough with it, I guess then you might as well start a new one. But until then, enjoy what you're doing, and it normally comes out pretty good. So yeah, I still lack in trying to speak on the internet, so I am sorry if what I say makes no sense. Yeah, you have to live with me on that one. It's yeah. Okay. So I added more colors on here. I probably should add like, I don't know, some kind of sun. Not that color. Let's make it like really light purple. There we go. And then if I do this, this is pretty much just what happens when you play around with it too much. And then you can like start putting clouds in front. You can actually even use this color for like dark clouds, like it's gonna rain. You can see the texture of the brush here too. I quite like this brush. I don't know if it's one that I got originally when I got Photoshop or whether it's one I picked up later, so unfortunately I can't really tell you that. But yeah, I hope you guys found this interesting or at least somewhat useful. If you want me to do a tutorial on anything else, please just let me know and I will try to see if I can do it. Obviously I can't always do everything that I'd like to do, but I will do as much as I possibly can. So yeah, just let me know what you do and don't want to learn. You know, bits and bobs. If this was helpful, great. If I know it's helpful, then I can make more because I know it's actually useful to somebody. If you make something using the same technique, I'd love to see it. So yeah, thank you very much for watching and I will see you guys next time. Bye!